Hey, what's up, brother? Hope you're doing great. I just wanted to shoot the video to, share this feedback for the website, and hopefully this gives you some great ideas. Um, yeah, and by the way, thank you for letting me do this. Thank you for being open to the feedback because I know it takes a lot of courage for that sometimes. I know you're a creative person, and again, this is just my feedback as a user and also from my expertise, as a marketer and a landing page optimization guy. All right, so first, let me just get into this. First off, I do want to say I want to give you a shout out for that podcast here. This is like super awesome, especially the intro and the outro. I really do love that. It's really awesome. So, good stuff on that. And you are a definite pro when it comes to podcasting. I can definitely hear it. So, I do know. All right, so let's just get into this. So first thing, all right, looking at the page, I'm going to share some things that I personally have had some challenges with, like some issues I see, and this is as a user. Okay, so first thing first is that when I land on the page, I don't really know what is it you want me to do. You see here, listen to the show, but that's not really what you want me to do. You want me to learn more, right? You want me to find out what is this thing, this podcast vague. You want me to sign up for it, right? And I see that here, okay? The thing is, I had to scroll down to see that. So it causes what's called friction. It's more work, takes more time for me to get down there and find it. So one thing I would suggest is bringing this call to action, what you really want me to do, bring that up to the top. And honestly, unless this is the main thing you wanted me to do, which I don't think it is, honestly, in my opinion, I would bring this down to this second section. All right, so that's like the secondary action, that they can do. And then next to that, so you bring this part down to the bottom, and next to that, then have another call to action, the same thing, the same call to action. Now that you heard the show, get into the program or learn more, have a button there, right? Let's see here. So let's just go through it. So I'm going to click on this now. With that said, they're going to go to the sales page. And here, I would, before I get into my own feedback, I do want to say also on the topic of copywriting and landing page optimization, this headline needs to be something that gets me really interested in this program. So technically, you've already had a really good headline here. Join a community of diehard podcasters who are driven to grow and monetize their shows. Access a network of skilled, knowledgeable, and engaged members of the podcast community. Like, this is great. It's really great. I would put this here on the top. You can even summarize and make it shorter if you want, So it's got to be something really, every page is like what I just said before. Every page, when you get there, you got to know, what am I doing here? You might want to take some notes here. This is some golden nuggets, right? I'm dropping some bombs right now. So when they land on your page, they need to ask themselves simultaneously these questions, like in the first 3 seconds. It's, what am I doing here? What is this? What do you want me to do? And why should I do it? All right. What am I doing here? What is this? Those are like right at the same time. And what do you want me to do here? And why should I do it? So with that said, that's the thing you want to mention on this headline. That's for the purpose of the headline. It's attention podcasters or aspiring podcasters. You will XYZ. You will get this. Join the community, XYZ, and I would put the biggest benefit there. What's the end result that they're getting, the biggest benefit? Put that in the headline right here. And then below that, you can say this as a sub-headline. Here's what you get, ... and then start listing the features and benefits, right? So anyway, again, this is my feedback, right? It's totally up to you if you're going to use it or not. because I know you're a creative person and you got your cool stuff going on. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going through this. So, okay, so my feedback for this page, by the way, I did read every single word. It was pretty tough to do. I'll explain why in a moment, but what I will want to say is that your copy is really great. It's great stuff. You definitely, I could see you worked really hard on the copy, and you've organized it really well. So you've done most of the work. So great job on that, honestly. My feedback, real quick, as far as the wording, copywriting goes, I would recommend using more pirate language, right? So this is cool, by the way. This treasure chest that you're giving them in the mail, that's awesome. That is it. The value there is like way more than anything else. I mean, honestly, the group is great. Everything else is great. I know that from experience, because I've known you for a while. But if I didn't know you at all, but I did know that I'm getting this box in the mail with all these awesome things, with actual, a physical book, or a magazine, whatever you call it, that is, the selling point for me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. It's timeless. That's the thing. It's like something I can collect and I can hold in my hand, it's tangible. So anyway, with that said, I would recommend using these words that you're using in this is called a treasure chest. I would call this the treasure chest instead of podcast box. So treasure chest, any kind of other wording and verbal verbal wording that you can associate with the pirate theme, right? So think about what pirates say, I, matey, and R, and whatever, all those things. I would recommend having those kinds of languages, that kind of language in your copy, at least in the titles of whatever, all of these things here, okay? So I would have a title, whatever it's called, the treasure chest, monthly treasure chest, right? And then below the title, a little subtitle of what is it, the actual, in English, plain English, what is it actually, what is it? So that's where you would mention, a monthly box delivered to your, the front of your doorstep, whatever. All right, and then you get into the bullets below that, all right? Okay, cool. So let me just keep going through this so I can remind myself of what I see. All right, now comes the harsh realities, some things that might kind of hurt a bit. I don't know how easy you are with feedback, but here's the thing. This is really big, all right? It's gonna really help you if you actually implement this. As I was reading this, it was really tough for me to read it, all right? And I'm telling you this totally, friend to friend, this is like real. I don't want you to fail, I want you to succeed with this. So the reason is not only is the font small, that's one thing, the font is small. Okay, this text is pretty small for like a sales page. I would change it to like 16 if you're using, pixels. So 16, 18 maybe, it's kind of big, but anywhere from 14 to 16, I think is pretty good. With that said, not only is it small, but this is the big thing, is that it's white text on a black background. Anytime you do that, it's really hard on the eyes to read and to follow. Actually read word for word. I can skim through it. I can read this. What do you get? That's easy. Like got milk, white on a black background, things like that. I can read. And actually, I have my website here. Let me show you. So you see, I even use white on black background, but I don't do it for every single thing on the page. You see, it's separate. It's meant to be a separate thing. It's a section. It's a part of the whole thing. But anytime you have the same font type, same font color, same font size, throughout the whole entire page, it becomes like the same. So it's kind of like if you're relating it to podcasting. I've never done this. I've never been in podcasting before, but saying like being monotone. It's like having monotone. Like I talk like monotone most of the time, honestly. But you know, when you're speaking on a podcast, you want it to be dynamic and, you know, go up and down, you know, your all these things, and pauses and all that stuff. So you're an expert at that. I would highly recommend doing that as well on your visuals. So you want to think of your branding of your brand, you know, Podcast Bay, you, Scott Doucette, you have this way of speaking and you have this passion that's in your voice, and you actually care about your listeners. You take out the ums and the ahs, and you take out the background noise, and you make it awesome. You took time to put in that intro and outro, which is super awesome, by the way. I really love it. And you know, you do that. You do that for your listeners. It's the same thing for your visuals. So your website, you want it to be readable, you know. So with that said, the white on the black background, it's like comparing that to having a microphone that is, you know, the state of the art, whatever you want to, you know, name a really awesome mic, compared to using not even this, using a like a 99 cents. Actually, I have one of these here. It's from the airport. One of these, and it sounds like crap, right? So it's the same thing. It's hard to read, just like, you know, your brand is about being easy to hear and awesome sounding. It's the same thing. All right. So with that said, use more dynamic colors, backgrounds, and fonts, font sizes, etc. What I would recommend on that note. So here's my recommendation. Take it how you want. This is just a little thought, an idea. I'm going to draw something real quick. I'm just going to draw with white, but I'm not saying it's going to be white. But so what I would do is use this. I shouldn't even use white for this one. I would recommend using this design, this font, the same as your, hold on. It's the same as your title here, actually. I would recommend using that as the title for each of these things. Okay. And of course, call it again, treasure chest, you know, whatever, something pirate related. And I would also recommend, or you can use, what's that called? Calligraphy, like how, you know, pirates write on paper. I don't know if that's even I don't know if that's true or not, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I would use like something like that. And what was I going to say? Okay, so here's the other feedback. I'm going to clear this up. All right, now I'm going to draw something else. I hope you don't mind. I like drawing. Okay, so here's my idea. I would have this whole page be a treasure map. This is like the cut off edges and stuff. So all the stuff in the inside, I would make it that same kind of brownish paper color, like an old treasure map. I've seen it on your Instagram page, pictures. So I would use that and, you know, make this whole theme kind of like a treasure map. And if you think about it, it is kind of a treasure map, actually, because you're helping them, you're guiding them, showing them the way to be successful with a podcast, you know. So I would recommend, you know, whatever you got to do to set that up. I'm not even sure what you're using here, what kind of design stuff. But yeah, that's my recommendation, having like a background with a treasure map and using black text on the brownish background. It would be super awesome. You're going to love it. I think you will love it. If you know what you're doing, or if you have someone on your team that's really good at design, hopefully you do. If not, I have a really great designer that did my website, as you saw. It was pretty awesome, right? Anyway, I'm gonna also suggest all this stuff in the background. This side right here, this is the actual background. I would recommend having that, something related to the pirate theme, maybe like a treasure, like an island with overseeing a sea, since this is a bay, you know, and like, you know, some water, some pirate ships floating by, whatever. Yeah, that's one idea, you know, just something, or it can be more murky. If you want it to be dark, it could be more, you know, foggy and, you know, murky and stuff like that. It's up to you. I think it'd be cool with the beach kind of background. So yeah, those are just some ideas, some suggestions. I'm gonna clear that up. All right. Let's see. Cool. And hopefully this was helpful. Let me check if there's anything else. And then the buy button. I mean, it's up to you. You know, you're using JVZoo. I see. You can use this buy button. In my opinion, I would, if you have, you know, a designer, like I said, I would recommend making the buy button, or, you know, like you're going to change this to, you know, get on the waiting list. I would make it also related to the pirate theme, like design a button that looks like, if it was a pirate who had a button on his page, what would it look like, you know? I have no idea what that would be. But anyway, again, my designer would know that, you know, off the top of their head, like really easily. Anyway, and then the other thing I just noticed right now, yeah, you need, I don't know if you knew this, but you absolutely need this. You need to have, awesome, this is copyrights. You need to do this. Let's see, no. Whatever, I don't know it. You know, the C sign, copyrights, your site, and then this is also another thing that's super important. Absolutely essential. I don't even know how you got on JVZoo, but they're probably gonna. I just got rid of it. My bad. Whatever. You know what I'm saying. You need a disclaimer. I'm gonna write that right now. Jeez, disclaimer. Okay, there you go. So when they click on that, it needs to go to disclaimer page or terms and condition page. It's a requirement by the law. You actually need that. Okay. So if you don't have one, actually, just go to my site here and just go to infopreneuragency.com/disclaimer, and you'll get a template. You'll see the whole thing. Just copy the whole thing, replace infopreneuragency.com with your site, you know, totally use it as your own. There is going to be a part on the bottom that I wrote myself. It's just like my own little extra message at the end. But yeah, you need the actual legal wording. It's really, as you can see, like super legal and jargon, you know. But yeah, you need all of this on your site, you know, no matter what you're selling, or if you're not even selling anything, no matter what it is, you need that on your site. All right, so with that said, I think that was pretty much the main points that I wanted to get across. Hopefully this was helpful. And if you need help with any of this, you know, let me know. I mean, I'm happy to help as far as I can help you. I mean, honestly, I'm not that great of a designer myself. But yeah, my designer is absolutely amazing, Manuela. I've lived with her for like a year. That's partly why I know all this stuff. And yeah, she would come up with some amazing, something just totally awesome if you're open to having someone else do all this for you, you know. But anyway, yeah, so that's that. Hopefully you get something from this. Let me know if you have any questions, and feel free to reach out anytime, as always. All right, I guess that's it. Have an awesome rest of your day. Take care. Peace.